walking with God. Around the beginning of the year, I made a video in regards of the life of Enoch. And there were 3 words that I mentioned in this video that described his walk. It was that of influence. It was a walk of impact, because first and foremost, it was a walk of intention. He intended to walk with God every day. And because of that intention, he made an influence not only on that generation, but on generations that would come after him. But he also made an impact. People have wanted to know more about Enoch, especially since his commentary in scripture is only about 8 verses long. Those verses are found in the book of Genesis, in the book of Hebrews, and in the book of Jude. And so for a little refresher course, I'm gonna read the scriptures to you again. But I do want to encourage you that if you have not seen the first video, Walking with God, then the description, the link to the video is going to be in the description. But also I want to encourage you to go to my channel and find the video Walking with God, because this video is going to be part 2, because I have 3 more words for you today to talk about Enoch's walk with God and to describe it. And so the first verse that we are going to read, verses, matter of fact, are in that of Genesis chapter 5, and starting in verse 21. The Bible tells us Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. The next verses are in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, in verse 5. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony, that he pleased God. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And lastly, the book of Jude, verses 14 and 15. And Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all the ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. And so you have this small biography commentary on Enoch. And you say, Brandon, how do you have at least 6 words to describe that walk? Well, in reading these verses, or trying to read these verses each and every single day, and meditating and thinking about these verses, when I think about Enoch's walk with God, again, as I mentioned the first 3 words, his walk encourages me to have a more intimate walk with God. I want to walk as Enoch did in his days. And if we're talking about the words, what are the next 3 words that will add to this in part 2? Well, the first one I already mentioned to you, that of intimacy. I remember asking, I believe this past Sunday, doing a little checkup. I mentioned the previous words in part 1 about intention, about influence, and about impact. Then I asked for a checkup. I want you to ask yourselves, how is my walk with God going this year? Well, it may not be going so well this year. Maybe you may say that. Maybe you may say that my walk is going pretty well, but I would want it to get better. Can I encourage you to start and look back at your intimacy? When I talk about intimacy, I am talking about such a deep love, a deep yearning for God, that in comparison, nothing else in this life matters. And I believe that's what Enoch had. He loved God more than his family. He loved God more than his possessions. That was a deep, intimate yearning for God. And especially in his day, because you had men crying out to God by name. They were crying out to him. And remember, he lived after the first sins were committed and the world was beginning to become corrupt. And Enoch took his stand and says, I'm going to live for God, because there is such a love for him that nothing else in that time mattered. So when I think about Enoch's walk, I think about that of intimacy. But then the next word that I want to think of, that I want you to remember, is that of incentive. So what do you mean by incentive? Sure, you may look at that as, oh, there is an incentive to this. There is a reward. And of course, that was one of the verses that we read. He who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of him that diligently seek him. Yes, there is a reward. But I want you to think about the why. Why am I seeking after God? Why am I walking after God? Why is it that I need to be intimate? Why is it that nothing else in this world should matter except for my relationship with God and my love and my walk with God? Now, when you come at it that way, when you ask yourself the question, why? When there is a reason and a spur behind your walk, then you will understand that the great reward is not in what he gives you as the reward, but in that he gives you himself. For Enoch, he was so close to God in his walk, in his intimacy, that every day he walked was just like another day in heaven. And so God just said, come on home. So what is it that I want you to do with that? Well, that goes into the third word, and that is intensity. Now, this goes back to the beginning of the video when I asked, how's your walk with God going? Maybe it's been going possibly slower. Maybe it's been going not as good as you would want it to be. Can I ask you, what is it that you can do today to intensify your walk with God? What is it that is actually standing in your way that is keeping you from intensifying your walk with God? Can I challenge myself? Can I challenge you today? Whatever obstacle there is in your way, maybe it's a possession, maybe it is a person. Whatever is keeping you from having an intense walk with God, then ask God to help you to make it second, because he is to be first. And so you have 6 words. With Enoch, you have that of intention, you have that of influence, you have impact, you have now intimacy, you have incentive, and you have intensity. 6 words to describe Enoch's walk with God. And I'll ask you again, as you look at this video and as it challenges you, ask yourself today, how is my walk with God going this year? How do I want it to be at the end of the year? How is it that I want my walk to be as I go into the next day? Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and share if this video encouraged you. And to see more encouraging videos and posts, subscribe to my channel and follow me on social. See you guys next time.